The most powerful form of daily feedback is the visualizer. In case you don't know, the visualizer is just a camera on a flexible arm of some sort, and you can put anything underneath the camera and it will be projected onto your screen for the class to see. This has immense benefits in two ways. Firstly, it offers feedback on how you want a task done. You put a piece of paper or a bit of work underneath the visualizer and you actually map it out yourself. I would like you to start writing on the third line of the page, and so you'd model it. The first 3 words will be, I really enjoy, and then they've got to carry it on or whatever. Or this is how I want you to lay out the maths problem. Or this is how I want you to measure the space. Whatever it is, do it under the visualizer. So there are no longer any written instructions. They're verbal instructions with a picture. So the kids can see exactly in concrete terms what you want them to do. It's really easy for you to pause and allow everyone to catch up to the space that you're at and then carry on. So it's really then easy to get all the class on track in the right time, but also giving you the performance that you want. So that's just task setting. It's even more powerful now when you want to explore what students have done. Again, using your lollipop sticks, you're going to pick students at random to put under the visualizer. Now, this might be contentious with some of your learners. You'll be the judge of that, and you might not do it with every kid. In a mainstream school, I do it with everybody, no matter their level of anxiety, because the premise is this: if I put students' work under the visualizer and never criticize it, but only ever critique it, find ways to say what's working well and what could be improved, that becomes the social norm in the classroom. And so over time, students lose the fear because they're never reprimanded for stuff that isn't going right. They're never ridiculed for it. They're never told they're not good enough. Instead, they're praised for what's going well and they find a way to improve, which helps them. They also realise that when someone else's work goes under the visualizer, they learn something from that. And so the class climate becomes incredibly supportive. If I don't do that, then that student's anxiety is not likely to lessen over time. It's likely to get worse. That said, if you're not putting the student's work under the visualizer in order to critique it because of their level of anxiety, you need to find a way to put a number on it. So how anxious is this kid? How am I going to measure that? And how will I record that as a number? It might be an arbitrary scale of 1 to 10. Today, I think the kid was 8, and 10 being the highest. And then you're going to map that over time, because if over 3 weeks those numbers aren't going down, you need to change what you're doing because you're not addressing the kid's main problem, which is their anxiety. And I'm going to suggest that the visualizer is going to be part of the solution at some point in reducing that student's anxiety. So it's there for self-regulation, it's there for feedback, and it's also there to establish that class climate of everybody realizing how to succeed in a concrete way because it's visual. So every classroom needs a visualizer. The other thing it does is video. So it's really easy for you to video a student's piece of work and then use that next time you do that same bit of work in advance. Hey guys, this is what I want it to look like. This is what my learner did last week, last month, last year. Look how great it is. Austin Butterfly moment, where you haven't had to go out and produce an artificial example, which as a teacher is always way ahead of what the kids can produce. Feedback with a visualizer, every lesson. Again, every rule's there to be broken, but your mindset should be, there isn't any lesson where I couldn't improve the learning of the kids by giving them a visualizer. No, I'm not going to give them the visualizer, by putting work under the visualizer and also making explicit my expectations of how to do the task under the visualizer.